Workforce development. It's one of the pillars of a healthy economy. And while the state and nation are still trying to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, the question remains, how? Where are the jobs, and do we have enough people to fill them? What is the future of work? One of the major factors in workforce development is education, which comes in many forms, from universities to trade schools. But where does the community college fit in? Hudson Valley Community College President Dr. Roger Ramsamy says that the workforce shortage in places like the service industry right now will eventually disappear and lead to new demands of the job market.
But what about those new industries that are coming up, such as the electric cars, autonomous vehicles, the new ways of building homes? Since new homes, people are staying home and working, there are new architectural designs and designs to those buildings, and probably a greater need to build homes.
He says those trends have led to HVCC providing more technical training and trade certifications in recent years. But while community colleges are generally more affordable than a university, there's still a stigma associated with those schools. Melinda Mack, the executive director of the New York Association of Training and Employment Professionals, says that some people view a 2-year degree as a sort of step down.
I think the stigma sort of exists because this concept of what kind of jobs you should be getting to be able to have a good life and to be able to have a good salary, when in reality, many of those jobs are changing. They're just changing, and the nature of the work is changing.
When it comes to how work is changing, a recurring theme is automation, which requires more education. SUNY Chancellor Jim Malatras not only oversees 4-year schools, but several community colleges within the SUNY system as well.
You no longer graduate from high school, you go to a community college or a 4-year college, or you go get your post-secondary, your master's degree, your PhD, and then you're done. It's not a static point in time. You need to constantly come back and get upskilling. Industries change really fast. Technologies change really fast. You have to build into our structure a process where it's easy for individuals to go into the workforce and then come back and then go into the workforce.
Malatras says higher education hasn't really addressed that need, but the future of work depends on meeting those demands through training. Dr. Steady Mono, the president of SUNY Schenectady, says that's a part of the value of community colleges.
If the country is going to recover from the pandemic, not only from the pandemic, but be the force in terms of workforce, it has to be the community colleges. And that is why, at the national level, there are conversations right now about the role of community colleges, and that community colleges need to be supported in a very robust way.
But while educators say higher education, including community colleges, will play a critical role in recovering from the pandemic and meeting workforce demands for the future, a lot of schools are seeing a drop in enrollment. Here's Malatras again.
You do see challenges in enrollment all across the country. SUNY is not immune from declines in enrollment. Our enrollment has been declining for about 10 years. It has sped up a little bit because of COVID. I think people just said, we're going to wait this out and see what goes on.
Some people don't pursue higher education because they can't afford to. That's something Melinda Mack says can be addressed via trade schools, which can get someone on the path to a new career.
You have to be able to link the pathways together so that if you go to a trade school, or if you go to BOCES, or if you go to a Voc Tech program, or a workforce development program, that those then lead you into a community college or a 4-year institution, so you're not having to repeat the work you've already done.
Ramsamy, the community college president, says that down the line, the future of work will rely on people responding to the needs of their own communities. That's been the case in the past as well, but now there are new industry demands.
If the kids who are coming into a 3D construction building or offshore wind energy program, we can give them the opportunity to generate their own small business that can eventually grow into something and grow back the industries that would draw more people to want to work in their industries.
And while many industries in the state are facing a workforce shortage, Malatras says more investment in higher education could be a solution.
You go to Hudson Valley Community College and you look at that advanced manufacturing center they have, it is state of the art. That's what our students deserve. So we need more investments like that, and if you could do those bigger on scale, we can do more. Nursing's another area. We have a shortage nationally in nursing. We have a shortage in the state of New York on nursing. We can't meet current demand as it is. We need more space to train more nurses.
Regardless of what field someone decides to pursue, Melinda Mack says there's a pathway to get where you'd like to go. And if they can afford it and make it work, that can be their future of work.
I also just want to say, I think that anyone can sort of do anything, honestly. The challenge is being realistic about the time frame, right? If you have less than a high school diploma, it's going to take you a lot longer to become a surgeon than if you already have a 4-year degree, have all your bio credits done, etc. You could certainly go into healthcare starting off in a nursing degree or starting off in a nursing assistant position and move your way up into a much more prestigious position or role.
While individual pathways may vary, it seems that accessible, affordable, and quality education for the ever-evolving workforce is one of the pillars of the future of work. For New York Now, I'm Daryl Camp in Albany.